You know, we've taken a look at a lot of different genres here on Worth It, from first-person shooters to Japanese role-playing games, platformers, and more. But this is the first time we'll be reviewing a visual novel, and happens to be a re-release of the 1999 Japan exclusive The Silver Case. So, is it worth it? Let's find out. The Silver Case is a tragically misguided game. During its 14-hour story, a wealth of fascinating topics are introduced and twisted through the lens of cryptic melancholy. The dangers of internet culture, society's obsession with serial killers, and the sadistic nature of corporations are just a few of the wide-reaching themes. Unfortunately, The Silver Case doesn't have much to say beyond dismissing their existence with adolescent cynicism, merely acknowledging topics without dissecting their origins or purpose, carelessly casting away potential revelations for borderline gibberish and eye-rolling aggression. And while it would be easier to simply chalk this up to clueless writing, there are brief moments where the pessimistic attitude brilliantly meshes with personal existential anxiety. But these are the exceptions to an overly cluttered and obnoxiously random narrative. Taking place in the year 1999, The Silver Case tells the story of the Heinous Crimes Unit, a highly funded and prestigious division of the police formed following a series of public assassinations. Players take control of a new recruit to the HCU, tasked with investigating unsolved mysteries that the rest of the team deliberately avoid. Elsewhere, the freelance journalist Morishima is chronicling the history of the notorious murderer Kamui. But to uncover the truth, he'll need to repair long-damaged relationships and accept his personal faults. As a visual novel, interaction is intentionally narrow. Outside of a handful of puzzles, all of the gameplay is centered around the on-the-rails exploration and object selection. There are no mechanics or systems to influence or alter the story. So yes, it's a bit like reading a book with cutscenes. The Silver Case can be downright alienating in its introduction, with a series of ill-explained terminology and painfully awkward dialogue. But once the parallel storylines are established, the narrative cleverly juxtaposes the inept though rigid police with a lazy yet highly informed journalist, experiencing the dreamlike scenarios firsthand with realistic explanations revealed later. Unfortunately, this results in a lopsided tale. Despite a sizable cast, the HCU chapters are an awkward pairing of unlikable personalities and confusing exposition, whereas Morishima's noir-style investigation is more limited in scope, but does a much better job of developing its characters and progressively raising the stakes. Sadly, neither scenario properly concludes, and this is the core problem of The Silver Case. Too often the plot relies on serious events transforming into moodscapes instead of thematic endings. And while skirting tangible meaning occasionally fits the surreal tone, it becomes so predictable early on, it quickly loses the ability to invest, surprise, or shock. By now you've noticed the minimalist presentation, which is a result of the game's PlayStation 1 origins. Little has been done to update the graphics, but for the most part, the idle drawings match the provided text. Each chapter introduces a new artistic style, from computer green to monochrome, as well as separate character portraits for each side of the campaign. And though the in-game assets are a far cry from today's standards, their blocky renditions of objects and locations successfully create a retro 3D aesthetic, which is more than I can say for the cutscenes. Though the combination of animation and live action is an exciting concept, the heavily compressed videos are unacceptably blurry. This blemish aside, The Silver Case makes the most out of its restrained visuals, with a collection of thoughtfully sketched drawings. Likewise, the soundtrack only features a handful of songs, which are slightly revised as the game progresses. The nearly 2-decade-old synthesizers are at their best when they embrace the electronic style. However, the truly awful saccharine strings are distracting in their artificial droning. Overall, the presentation is on par with an 18-year-old title, but its artistic direction and subtle evolution hold up remarkably well. So, is it worth it? No. The Silver Case can't live up to its own ambitions, constantly switching its focus from one social issue to the next while avoiding definition. This wouldn't be such an issue if these scattershot themes accumulated into a grand vision or statement or anything, but more often than not, it's just a flat observation, quickly tossed out and replaced by another. The Silver Case is currently available on the PlayStation 4 and PC for $30. If you've had a chance to play it, let me know what you thought. And if you haven't, let me know if you plan on picking it up. My name is Colin Tanner, and I'll see you in the next video.